I mean, let's be very clear, this is not an apology. The fake South Park BP commercial, the infamous "We're sorry" meme, play a little moment of it, is still a more genuine apology than anything we've received from Bud Light. It's utterly pathetic and, if anything, continues to make the matters worse for Anheuser-Busch. Of the distributors, who at the end of the day here are pretty much collateral damage, an actual sincere apology to Bud Light consumers would have been the right direction to go, but it's been over 2 months at this point, and so far all we've seen from Anheuser's CEO, and claims that all the criticism lobbed at the company is based on, quote, misinformation, so copium and gaslighting. We've been waiting patiently for Anheuser-Busch to respond properly, and 2.5 months later, we finally have a statement from the company's CEO. Let's just say it's not exactly what you might have been looking for. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, take a look at this article right over here. Bud Light maker CEO tells customers, "We hear you," but doesn't apologize as sales tank. Anheuser-Busch CEO Brendan Whitworth has released a message telling consumers, "We hear you," as sales of the beer giant's Bud Light brand continue to slide following a partnership with transgender activist who shall not be named. In a post titled "Anheuser-Busch announces support for frontline employees and wholesale partners," Whitworth said, "We recognize that over the last 2 months, the discussion surrounding our company and Bud Light has moved away from beer, and this has impacted our consumers, our business partners, and our employees." They're doing it again. You absolute dishonest goons. "We realize that over the last 2 months, discussion surrounding our company and Bud Light has moved away from beer." Yeah, it's just the discussion that moved away from beer magically. People were talking about Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light, and just out of nowhere, the conversation shifted to the culture wars. No, you did that, you absolute idiots. The conversation shifted because of your diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, your incessant, obsessive focus with ridiculous woke corporate social credit scores, and you still refuse to take basic accountability for your actions and are trying to push the whole thing on consumers. It's the consumer's fault somehow, once again. The last apology or public statement, which was supposed to alleviate some of the pain for Anheuser-Busch, the last genius statement from their PR department, was a total non-apology, and this one is as well. I mean, let's be very clear, this is not an apology. The fake South Park BP commercial, the infamous "We're sorry" meme.
We're sorry. We're sorry. Sorry.
Is still a more genuine apology than anything we've received from Bud Light. It's utterly pathetic and, if anything, continues to make the matters worse for Anheuser-Busch. Not to mention, Anheuser-Busch's CEO during an earnings call essentially calling us conspiracy theorists, that it's really just misinformation, or that their partnership with the TikTok individual that shall not be named wasn't actually a partnership. It was just a one-time thing, you know, a partnership. On a campaign, they put that individual's likeness on a freaking custom-made can. Apologize. What is so difficult? What a pathetic, groveling, cringe company. Of course, the leftoid response here would be, well, they have nothing to apologize for. They're just supporting trans rights. Give me a break. If that's all it was, Bud Light would have never had any issues. If they simply wrote on Twitter that trans lives matter, I mean, whatever. Nobody would care. If it was some empty virtue signaling platitudes, empty activist rhetoric about Pride Month, whatever. Honestly, no one would have even noticed. But that's not what they did. And obviously they have a lot to apologize for. On a Zoom call ahead of this shift in marketing, they claimed that Bud Light was a dying brand even though it was the top brand in America. They called for a shift in marketing campaigns to move away from the frat boy blue-collar image. They essentially called their current customer base backwards hillbillies and douche frat boys and implemented a new marketing strategy to appeal to young drinkers. I mean, that statement alone is already despicable enough. Let's market alcohol to young people. And if that wasn't bad enough, what was their strategy to revive the brand and make it more appealing to young people? Pushing Gen gender ideology and using possibly the most controversial individual on TikTok who shall not be named. I don't want to name the individual for multiple reasons. First of all, because of potentially getting in trouble with the overlords here on the issue of targeted harassment, even though obviously what we're saying is nothing of the kind. And probably the most important reason, I don't want to add to the endless promotion that this individual has received. But obviously people understand what's concerning. The whole TikTok shtick seems to be some sort of disingenuous grift with the intent of collecting attention and fame. Essentially, choosing this individual as a sponsor, especially to target young children, has to be one of the dumbest decisions ever made by a company in the history of marketing campaigns. In other words, Budlight screwed up. And that's the nice way of saying it. That's the PG-friendly way of saying it. Yet they still can't admit it. They've yet to apologize. And to add insult to injury, the angle they're taking is blaming you. It's your fault. You shifted the conversation. And now they're trying to play the victim card, using their frontline employees as an attempt to guilt trip the public into supporting their brand again. Whitworth announced 3 important actions to move the company forward, including investing to protect the jobs of our frontline employees and providing financial assistance to our dependent wholesalers to help them support their employees. Third, to all our valued customers, we hear you. Our summer advertising launches next week, and you can look forward to Budlight reinforcing what you've always loved about our brand, that it's easy to drink and easy to enjoy. The CEO vowed, as we move forward, we will focus on what we do best, brewing great beer and earning our place in moments that matter to you. That last statement was the most genuine, and look, I'm going to be as fair as possible. I'm not just going to continue to rag on them. At least they got that part right, and hopefully that's more proof that we're winning and winning big. Because again, to all the people who said that this boycott was transphobic or just a bunch of bigots expressing hateful views, all we have been asking for very simply are 2 things. The core of this boycott has been 1, leave the children and most importantly young people alone. Stop with the woke indoctrination, and of course the way that you do that is simply keep your beer brand about beer. You know, it's the same issue with sports, right? People want to watch the NBA, for instance, to watch basketball, not to watch very educated mind LeBron James go on and on about his half-baked ignorant political ideas. Budlight essentially promised that their marketing campaigns are going to stick solely or strictly to making good, easily drinkable beer. It's a step in the right direction. I'm still never going to drink Bud Light ever again or any product under Anheuser-Busch because I view the whole thing as insincere, especially these cringe non-apology apologies. But I'm viewing the whole thing as a positive because I think other brands are starting to pick up here and are probably taking the whole Bud Light situation as a warning, as a cue to do the same, to stick to the product. Stay away from the kids, stay away from promoting adult sexual identities and behaviors and lifestyles. And if that's the case, if this whole thing's going to have a shockwave effect spreading to other major companies, well then that means something very simple and something very good. We are winning the culture war in very slow and methodical fashion. And that I have to admit makes me somewhat hopeful. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, you know that we would love to have you here. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you on the next one.